Chapter 1. On Guard. Welcome to fencing. Somehow you've stumbled upon the sport of fencing. Maybe you know someone who fences, or perhaps you've seen some fencing on television or in a movie and were inspired by the skill, power, speed and focus of this sport. Perhaps it is your son or daughter who wanted to try out fencing, somewhere between trying basketball, football and hockey. Or maybe fencing is something that always intrigued you, and it is only now that the opportunity has come along. One way or another, congratulations on finding us, and welcome to the magical, competitive and rigorous world of this martial art, the Olympic sport of fencing. For centuries, even millennia, people wielded swords as weapons of war. Swords made of iron first appeared around the 12th century BC, but did not become widespread until 4 centuries later. Holding a sword in your hand brings a very primal sensation of power, and many children are naturally attracted to the feeling of control and accomplishment that knowing how to hold and use a sword can bring. Mastering the use of a sword is a highly technical skill, one that can develop self-confidence, focus and precision in children and adults alike. Children can start fencing at a young age, with some clubs offering fencing groups for participants as young as 5, and parent and child groups at even younger ages. This does not necessarily mean they will become child prodigies, but simply that they will be exposed to the fencing environment at an early age, and perhaps might fall in love with it. Conversely, many successful fencers have started their journey in the sport later. So don't write off your child's or your chances. Fencing encourages physical and mental balance, focus, analytical skills, discipline and thinking ahead. It helps to develop the frontal lobe of the brain, an advantage for hyperactive children and for those who need help with concentration. Fencing is a uniquely demanding sport in the way that it demands technical, physical, tactical and psychological prowess, and the benefits to the individual are enormous. The 18th century Italian school of fencing, developed during the Renaissance, is credited as the origin of modern fencing, and the French school built on and further developed the Italian techniques. Historical references to fencing schools date back to the 12th century, but it is only in the mid-18th century that a shift towards fencing as a sport happened. This was led by Domenico Angelo, who established a fencing academy called Angelo's School of Arms in Carlisle House, Soho, London, in 1763. Domenico Angelo taught the aristocracy the fashionable art of swordsmanship. As a fencing instructor to the royal family, he and his sons after him dominated European fencing for nearly a century. He established the essential rules of posture and footwork and was the first fencing master to point out the health and sporting benefits of fencing, more than its use as a form of combat. As a result of this changing perspective, fencing slowly evolved from an art of war into a sport. While there are various theories and traditions about the starting weapon, most often, especially in Western Europe, children started with foil before having the choice to move on to épée or sabre later, or to continue with the foil. It is now widely accepted that under the age of 6, and before children have enough discipline and self-control to ensure safety, and the strength to use a metal sword, it is recommended that they start with a foam or plastic weapon.
Watching the joy in the eyes of my boys the first time they were allowed to hold a real fencing sword and learn some basic skills was exhilarating. My older boy had issues with concentration at school. As a young child, he was unable to do repetitive tasks required of him and needed to move from activity to activity all the time. Nothing held his interest for an extended period. Fencing was life-changing for him.